All right, we're live, guys. Finally, after how many weeks we're missing, we're here now. Welcome. If you can hear us, feel free to let us know the sound quality, and also we always like to know where you are watching us. And I've had a few people jump in. Again, we apologize that we couldn't make it the past couple of weeks because Ryan has we have customers that we have to focus on, or they're I guess how we want to say.
Yeah.
All right. Maybe give people you have some topics to talk about. Let me check on who's out there.
Probably Chris.
Oh, okay. All right. That's fine.
So, all right. Welcome back, everybody. So we got. Oh wow, we went from 4 to 21 just like that. I don't know why it does that. Okay, so good. Sounds good. Thank you for the feedback on that. Central Oregon. So we were just up in that part of the country here, roughly a month ago, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was pretty nice. Vegas is probably pretty hot there, I would imagine, this time of year. So
yeah.
All right. So I want to give a little bit of update. So 3 weeks ago, roughly, give or take, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We had a truck that went missing out of our lot here. So I wanted to kind of give a little bit of an update on that. And so the truck was recovered in a big part to social media. So us and the owner, one of my good local customers, neighbor, it was actually just over here for a couple items. The truck was. So it's a very, very odd story. The truck was recovered like within 3-4 hours of us, figuring out that he didn't take it, and obviously I didn't take it because I was like, "Where's the truck at?" And so going back, kind of what happened with that. So evidently, a gentleman walked onto the property here about 2:45 on that Sunday morning. I had parked the truck out in the lot at the end of the day on Saturday because we're here on Saturdays. And so we came in about 2:45 in the morning. Guy had a backpack on, looked pretty clean cut, didn't look like a junkie or anything. So it looked like a professional, and he had a pair of pretty good size bolt cutters in his hands. So our thought was probably that he was going over to the owner's property because they have a gate. We was thinking he's maybe going over there to cut the gate and then take the truck. I mean, because the guy had a backpack, looked like he had enough clothes, maybe get down to the border somewhere or wherever they were going to take the truck. But evidently he went about 30 minutes away from here, left the truck at a speedway, and then stole a pickup truck that was sitting running at the gas pumps and drove it back towards Canton. And somehow in between, there was also a bicycle that was laying on the back of the truck, the Peterbilt that was taken. So he stole that somewhere on the way. Then, like I said, he didn't do anything in the truck that we found or the owner found. The only thing that he did do was take the air brake knobs because it had like some custom Peterbilt, ones that kind of matched the truck. So he took those and the shifter knob, and that was it. So like I'm still trying to like figure all this out. Like why? I mean, it's pretty risky, joyride type of thing. He stole Grand Theft Auto to the Peterbilt 379, then Grand Theft Auto to pickup truck, and came right back towards this direction. So, but other than that, there really hasn't many updates. But I just wanted to kind of thank everybody, because like I said, it was an attendant at the gas station where it was left at that saw the Facebook post, I believe, from the owner of the truck, and said, "Hey, I think your truck's sitting here," and so we ended up getting it back, luckily. So, but other than that, I mean, I was really kind of caught off guard because we've had a pretty good run here at our location. I've left stuff outside before, left stuff unlocked, and we've never. I mean, maybe kind of get complacent, but we've never had any issues here. I mean, until then, so it was really surprising. But again, we just want to kind of thank everybody that out there that spread the word or whatever. So
yeah. Also it's a big lesson learned for us as a business owner. It's always it's great that we have
the liability. I mean, as far as whose insurance, that type of thing goes on, and ultimately it would have been, if the truck would have been covered, that would have been a claim on our policy, since it with our garage keepers policy, and that's one if you're a person out there. We was talking to a gentleman about a week ago about starting his own truck shop and don't work for the people. So if you are ever looking to get into the business of working on other people's property, make sure you do have a good garage keepers policy because you're liable for that stuff, and that covers errors and emissions type of stuff too. Like if say we were to do an engine job and it blows up 1,000 miles down the road or something happens, whatever what the reason is, our insurance would cover that as well. So that's why it's really important to have those policies. And that was, like I said, a big eye opener for us, and a learning experience. So we're working on. We've got a plan to kind of enclose our property here and kind of make the outside perimeter into storage units, and then fence in the in between. So there'll be probably more to follow on that once that kind of goes and hopefully goes into building stages, I guess you could say. So we've yeah. So
yeah, we wanna.
So did you have anything to add to that?
No. Just want to say hi to everybody. Just looking at your comments.
So, okay, the question: where are we located? So we're in basically downtown Canton, Ohio. We're right at the corner of US 30 and I-77. So pretty. If you're driving down I-77 or coming across US 30, you can see the top of our building. So
yeah.
So we're from Thailand. I've been to Thailand several times. Actually lived there for a little while when I was in the military. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's been here before a couple times.
Yeah, we have a study of people. It's been watching us since the beginning of our live show. Mainly just want to have a way to give back to the community. A lot of times we couldn't really answer your question because we're running a business here. I know a lot of people having urgent questions and stuff like that. I mean, if you can wait a little bit and please spread the words to people if they ever have any technical question, trucking related, anything that you think Ryan can be a help, feel free to invite them to the live show every Friday. We try our best. And we wanted to, just interact with people or people that know us for a long time. I think we started maybe answer some questions.
Yeah, let me read over. Okay.
Yeah, I think Michael called me, and something.
Okay, so on the
I wanted to.
The older Thermo King tri-packs at a 65, as far as I know, most of them at a 65 amp alternator. And the newer Evolutions, most of those I believe have 120 amp. There could be deviations. So I had the tri-pack I had a 65 amp alternator. So anyways, I'm just kind of giving the background on this question. And I wanted to I had actually purchased the 120 amp alternator, I believe from Thermo Byproducts, and we got it, put it in, and it wouldn't recognize it, or wouldn't charge, and that's because I believe the computer board or whatever, or control module, knows what alternator is in that unit. So after I had talked to Thermo King, there is a wiring harness or a diode of some sort, or an adaptation kit that would make it possible to use that higher amp alternator. At that point, I really didn't go much further on it, so I really don't. I'd probably say the best thing would probably be to go through Thermo King on that to see if you can get that harness. But as far as I really didn't. I went ahead and went Thermo King because the time constraints. I think I had to get out on a load or something, and it was I wanted the thing to work because I was going out west as I usually did, and it was hot. So I ended up just going up to Thermo King, buying a 65 amp alternator. And that 120 amp might be floating around here somewhere. I don't think I ever used it. So. Okay, pre-purchase inspections. Yes, we are still doing pre-purchase inspections. We actually had an appointment, potential appointment up at Ohio Truck Sales, but I guess the truck that the gentleman was interested in sold. So, but yeah, sometimes it's kind of long distance stuff. I mean, I've been as far as Oklahoma City, Kansas City, down all over. I mean, quite a few places to do all over the country for inspections. So, but yeah, that we're still doing those. It's just a matter if we can work it into the schedule and stuff. So.
Okay.
Pack car.
Yeah.
Okay, so Packer MX-13. I've owned one myself. Had a 2017 Kenworth T680, 13-speed manual, 336 rears. Was real nice configuration. 455 horsepower. Real good mileage. Even the way that I run, when I'm out west, if it's 80 mile an hour, I'm going 80 mile an hour. So just I was kind of a miles guy when I was running, so as many miles I can pack in an 8-day cycle. So I ran pretty hard, and I was averaging about 7.5 with that powertrain configuration at running. Those tires. I'm not putting around at 60 mile an hour. I mean, I'm going 75, 80 mile an hour. So yeah, they are a clean. I mean, as far what I mean by clean is a clean engine to work on. You can get the stuff pretty easy. It's pretty simple. The one thing I don't like about the PACCAR is the electronic side. Even with a lot of our software, we're using jaw test software and also the Snap-on ProLink, and a lot of times it seems like more than a lot of the time, more than not the time, it seems like you'll go in to do some type of test or region, and sometimes the computer will just. I actually had one here. We did that DPF for that guy with the older. He had like a 2012 MX-13, and they have the emissions on them is all Cummins. It's pretty much the same as an ISX as far as all the emissions, your DPF, DOC, SCR, and all that stuff. So that's pretty well the same. And even with the newer PACCARs, the emissions is the same as an X15 essentially. I mean, they might put different print PACCAR on it, but it's Cummins stuff. So that's one good thing about it is it's a lot of cross compatibility as far as emissions go with Cummins. But again, going back to that, what I was getting on, I kind of got off topic there. But with the electronic side, sometimes with that 2012 that was here, I was just trying. We cleaned the DPF and did a couple other things, and I was just trying to do a forced regen on it just to make sure, whenever we do DPF work, we always, cleanings and all that stuff. We always do forced regen just to make sure nothing's leaking, the numbers are all right, and all that good stuff. But my jaw test and my Snap-on ProLink Edge, I mean, I'm talking $25,000 of software would not regen that truck. I ended up having to come in here and get my $600 OTR tool, and that actually regened it. So it's very, very weird that some of them will accept commands from third-party softwares. Another one, like I said, sometimes it'll just with my Snap-on ProLink on this particular truck, it just say ECU rejected command. I mean, like, okay. So it's that's my frustration with PACCAR. I wish they had a little bit more open source software. I mean, you're pretty much, to do anything major, you pretty well have to have the Davy software for the most part, and it's very, very the licensing is like $3,800 a year or something. And for as many, I don't see very many PACCARs here. A couple of years, so it would never make sense for us to subscribe to the software. So unfortunately. But other than that, I put like 300,000 miles on mine. I had it when I got the truck, it had like 48,000 miles on it. And I never had any, I thought it was a pretty good running engine, so pretty easy to work on. So
yeah. I'm gonna shout out to Cash is King. I've watched a lot of videos, and him and DIY Semi had those live shows. Really great, and I see you grow a lot, and keep on the good work, and continue to support the trucking industry. Awesome. I'm gonna keep going to the next one to answer a few questions. That's already on the screen.
Okay, so routine check, maintenance need to do on ISX engine. So I mean, oil changes, best thing you can do. I mean, there's different people have different beliefs. My belief is I'd rather use a little. I'm not a big believer in synthetics, full synthetics, semi-synthetics. I prefer just to use a more economical oil like a Rotella T4 or Mobil Delvac 1300 Super 1300, and change a little more often. As most of these engines these days, like as soon as you change oil, it's already black. I mean, because with EGR and everything, they're cleaner on the outside for the environment and emission standards and all that, but they're kind of dirty on the inside. So I think you're better off to change more oil change your oil more often and use a little bit more economical oil, then it kind of works out somewhat in the end. Also at the ISXs, I mean, we've done a lot of videos on those crankcase filters. On the X15s, they have a non-serviceable crankcase filter. I mean, if you do change them, they're like $400. But on the ISXs, crankcase filter is pretty big. So I'd probably recommend 50,000-ish or twice a year changing those. Intake manifold pressure sensors. I mean, probably at the same time every 50,000 or so, or twice a year, maybe 3 times a year. Take those out, either clean them or replace them. They used to be a lot cheaper. I mean, you used to be able to buy them for $40-50. So I mean, I don't know what they are. It's been a while since I bought one. But yeah, those are something else too that that little sensor can actually make you think. I mean, some places have changed turbos because they've had a bad sensor when they didn't need a turbo. So that does control fuel economy and power and all that stuff too. So that's another good item to maintain. Other than that, I mean, pretty much like anything else. I mean, those are probably the biggest that I would recommend on ISX. And
yeah, and I have see Hal Pike. I see him a lot from all kind of different comments and something. I think he would like to see if we can establish a business relationship with us. Absolutely, we always have. So just for everybody's information, we do offer consultation to individuals and smaller business or bigger fleet owners for trucking related or repair related. Anything you think Ryan can be a help, and we will. Our fee is just like same as our shop fee, labor rate, because if he's not working there, he's gonna work here. So that's how we establish no charging difference. So feel free to reach out to us, call or email our business phone. Business email, call our business phone, and we can set it up. Not a problem. Thank you.
I'm not really sure what that's for.
Remember who you spoke to and dealer to call? That's the one, the alternator you talk about.
Alternator. So I had So that question's going back to the APU deal. I was dealing with the Thermo King up here in Richfield, Ohio. Is who I talked to up there, and they've been pretty knowledgeable, and they're not too bad. I mean, they've given me part numbers and stuff, and some technical data on stuff, so they may be a good contact. And again, that's up in I can't remember their technical name, but if you search Thermo King on Google up in the Richfield, Ohio area, they'll come up there. So
yeah, I'm gonna put this up here. Basically, you want to read read a question first. A lot of times, what I do is I might watch our video while driving, so that little screen on the phone, I can definitely not see those. If you can just repeat the questions, and so people can actually listen.
Okay, he's asking what kit did we buy to rebuild the Kubota motor? So actually, for the carry APU, it's actually still sitting in a box. It's been one of those kind of back-burnered projects, like a lot of other projects around here. But I ended up buying a kit. I think I bought it off of Amazon, but it shipped directly from Taiwan. It was DHL shipped from Taiwan directly. So I actually I haven't even opened that box, but I know exactly where it is. I haven't jettisoned that project yet. So once we find some time, I want to get back into that. I also I have another Kubota motor too that I took off of an older, really antiquated APU unit that we took off of a W900. I can't remember if it's a Kubota or it might be a Yanmar. But it's sitting down in the basement too. So I got a couple little engines laying around here that we'll probably eventually play with.
Yeah. If you're interested in the kit Ryan bought, send us an email, and then I can try to.
It's been a little while ago.
Search the Amazon purchase history and send you a link. That might be helpful. Okay. I'm gonna go to Randy C.
I'm guessing you're referring to the
PACCAR.
The PACCAR engine. Yeah. I mean, a lot of smaller independents like us. I mean, it's just not cost effective to have the software. It's just, like I said, almost $4,000 a year, and I I would probably be lucky to use it 4 or 5 times a year. So I mean, there's no way I could ever justify the expense. So.
Yeah, I think we just actually installed a Centromatic.
Centromatic wheel balancers. I've always used them. I've never. I know they make them for the drive axles, and I've never put them on the drive axles. I know I've had some customers that have, but I've always used them on my steer axles, and I've noticed less vibrations. I actually just put a set on for a gentleman that was here yesterday that was complaining about vibrations and all that stuff, and he was having trouble with his steer tires holding the spin balancing. So the Centromatics, I always say, I don't know why I always say Centromics, but Centromatics, they're not a replacement for a traditional spin balance, So, but I think they do help hold that balance and reduce vibration and give you a little bit more tire life. And they're not really expensive. The ones we bought yesterday, we bought a different brand, but they're made in US. They're kind of a clone of Centromatic. Do you remember what the name on those was?
I don't remember.
I don't know, but they're not too much. I mean, you can get it. These were lifetime warranty too. They have as I gave the gentleman the warranty card out, they had a full lifetime warranty on them. So that's not a bad. And I think they were only like 275 or something.
Yeah, something like that
for the set. So it's not too bad.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna read that. Do you like OPS systems? What is OPS? Do you know?
I believe you're referring to those oil filtration. I don't know if you can elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah.
I believe you're referring to those extra. I can't think of the right words. The correct terminology. Like an extra oil filter. So.
Yeah.
But if you can elaborate a little bit more in the comments,
that'd be great. All right, let's talk about Greg asking about, are you still thinking about getting your own authority?
We got a lot of things on the plate. I mean, we're always thinking of other business ventures and stuff. I mean, we had everything kind of set up. We got to the insurance point. When I set everything up, I was like kind of hell bent on being able to do hazmat and all that stuff. And the insurance and some of the other requirements just got kind of really, really expensive. So if we end up going through it in the beginning, we will probably do non-hazmat and kind of get started. But and the other mistake, if you want to call it a mistake, that I made when I set up the authority, I had it as a brokerage and a trucking company in one DOT number, and a lot of insurance agencies kind of frown upon that. So they would rather have, I guess, because the way the insurance is, like if you have if you're brokering a load, then they can come after both. It's an insurance deal. I can't remember exactly. It's been so long. It's been like a year since I talked to insurance agents about it. But they didn't like having a brokerage and a trucking business and under one DOT number, so they were wanting me to split it and everything. So.
All right. So this is actually a bypass filter.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking.
Go back.
So.
Do you like it?
I mean, I don't really have a lot of experience with that. I've never had a truck, and I've only maybe had one or two trucks in here with them. So I know, I think like Pittsburgh Power and stuff like that sell them. But I mean, honestly, I don't really have a good review on them. I haven't had a lot of experience with them. I mean, I'm not real big on a lot of custom stuff and a lot of additions. So I mean, everything I've always ran just kind of kept stuff. I mean, other than like PDI and stuff like that, I've kept stuff pretty well stocked for the most part as far as trucks go.
So what? I'm gonna put this one out. So he said, they say using OPS is like having a brand new oil every day. They also sample the oil periodically. They say you can diagnose problem long before they show outward signs.
Yeah, and that's probably a good thing. I mean, with any type of oil sampling, if you have a good history, now, if we go and unless you have a good history of oil samples, it doesn't really tell you a whole lot to see where something started and have a track record. So I mean, yeah, we can go pull a sample on something, and if there's certain metals at a high level, we can say, yeah, there's major wear to, a crankshaft or a cam or these bearings or bushings or whatever. But it's best to have it with any type of sampling, have a good baseline so you can see, okay, what's the content, or is it going up, or is it staying stable? And then you can make decisions as far as overhauls and things of that nature. So, but again, like I said, I haven't had, I've never installed one. I've never had one on a truck. So I mean, if I was trying to give you some type of review, I wouldn't be honest about it. So.
All right. So I think let's talk about this question again. I think that's really a lot of people wondering in the new truckers and don't have a truck before, wanted to get into it. Maybe you organize your thoughts, talk about what is a good first truck.
It really depends on what you want to do, and that can mean a lot of things. So I mean, in your experience level, as far as being able to fix things yourself, and also your funds in reserve. I mean, how much money you have the in reserve for repairs and stuff like that. I see a lot of people, they spend they got X amount of dollars and they go out and they buy a truck they spend all their money, they don't have anything left. So, and if it's a used truck with say 500,000-600,000 miles on it, possibly a Freightliner that's got a one box or something. And I hear horror stories. The first week they went somewhere and they're telling them they got a bad one box and they're out 15-20 grand or something. So yeah. So if when I got into trucking and when I went into owner operator trucking from a company driver, I'm kind of glad I did it. I mean, a lot of people think it's crazy, but I did a lease with SFI, and I didn't have to put any money down. I put $3,500 down. So this is that Kenworth. I mean, but $3,500 in the trucking world is nothing basically. So, so I put $3,500 down on that T680, that 17 that we were talking about earlier with the pack car, and I didn't have any trouble with the truck. So I didn't have to put any major money into it. I mean, the truck had 48,000 miles on it. So I didn't have any unexpected major expenses. I didn't have any major trouble with it other than putting tires. I mean, like tires, I think were my biggest expense on that truck. We put a set
$4,000, something like that.
Yeah, I think that was our biggest expense on that truck. I mean, so that's kind of the risk. I mean, if you got $20,000 in the bank after you buy a truck or some type of line of credit or something, then yeah, you can kind of take a gamble on a used truck. But this really depends on your budget. If you're able to do a lot of major work yourself, because like I say, with any used truck, I mean, I can go out and inspect any truck, from the outside, but until you get out there and start running it, you're really not going to know, anything. I can go out and look at a truck and okay, everything's good here, it looks great. Then you get on in 2 weeks, you get on the road and you got a major problem, so. And it couldn't be and that's not necessarily a seller or a dealer's concealing it. That's just the way stuff is. Stuff breaks. Stuff, it just happens at the turn of a dime.
Happens with the age.
Yeah. Also. So I mean, if you're pretty handy with stuff and you got a little bit of money to put aside for a major expense, then I would probably might take a gamble on some type of used truck. I mean, as far as configurations, I'm not a fan of automated transmissions. I mean, that's just another EC, a computer, wiring, sensors. The clutches are 3 times as much. You got clutch actuators. I'm just not a big fan of an automated transmission at all. I like Cummins because they sell and service them everywhere. I mean, even though some of them have their drawbacks and flaws, but everything's readily available and you can take them anywhere to get worked on or anywhere to buy parts. So. But yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to the making a decision. Like if you're going to buy a newer truck or an older model truck, it really comes down to, like I said, your skill level, what you can do yourself, how much money you got. Because like I said, I hear it all the time. Guys went out, they spend everything they have, and then they got to put an engine in it or a one box and it's just, and some of them are down to like the last $200. I mean, I had a guy come in here with some. His engine, he had a 2000, it was like a 14, 15 Cascadia that he had just bought it a couple months ago. He just had it down at I don't know if it was a dealer or not. They did a clutch in it, and he comes in. He took it down to fight at one of the Fighter Freightliners, And they said, yeah, your engine, like his whole engine was moving and hitting the frame. Like it was literally moving like 2 or 3 inches to the passenger side, the way the torque is. And it was actually it almost cut the ground cable on the alternator, between the alternator and the frame, because it was hitting it so hard. And he came in here and he's like, man, he's like, Fido wanted like $3,000 to put engine mounts in this thing on the back. And luckily I'm kind of trim and I could crawl up between the drive shaft and get on top of the transmission, and was able to get the bolts on. All it was the engine mount bolts were loose on the driver's, the left side of the engine. So it was allowing the whole powertrain to, when it was torquing, to roll over and hit the frame. But luckily, like I said, they wanted $3,000 and they were going to pull everything back out to put new engine mounts in it. And I was able to
guess how much he charged customer.
I didn't even like normally, typically they shop, and the same with us. We charge an hour minimum, and the guy's like, "Oh, I got $75," and I hope he wasn't lying, because all they charged him was $75.
Yeah.
And like I said, the dealer wanted $3,000, but it was simple enough. Like I said, I was trim enough to get up between the drive shaft and on top of the transmission, and get in there with an impact swivel and a half-inch locking impact, and was able to run the bolts back down tight. And
also, customer didn't have appointment.
Yeah,
he came here. Yeah. So those are the situations.
But that's what I said. Like if you're looking to buy an old truck, that you just never know. But if you got $200 to your name after you buy that truck, I mean, you may have issues. So
yeah.
So it's not a very good business model. So like I said, I'm glad I went the way it went, kind of coming into the business. I mean, it was with an SFI lease or any type of lease. I can't really talk bad about SFI. Everything they told me was true. I didn't get screwed when I turned the truck in after 2 years. They gave me obviously they charged me an early termination fee, but they direct deposited the rest of my money in my maintenance account back, and everybody was happy. I took the truck back where it was supposed to go. Yeah, and it wasn't a bad experience, and I made money with the truck and had a good time and learned a lot. And then after that experience, that's when I went and actually purchased the truck. That's when I bought the T660. So, like I said, if you're kind of getting in the bit, that's one thing I would with a lease, is that if that lease does have a termination clause, that gives you an out. So if you decide this ain't for me, or I'm going broke, or whatever, for whatever reason, you're not stuck with a truck that you can't get rid of, or this truck gets blown up now, the engine's bad, whatever, where you're stuck with it and you got all this debt. So if you're kind of coming in new, I mean, that is, like I said, I'm not promoting all leases out there, but it's a kind of a way to kind of dip your foot in the water and test it out before you go full in. So,
yeah.
We're getting a little close on.
We're getting close to pick our kids up. I think, I don't know. I feel bad every time we can't answer all the questions. All right, where are we at?
We'll do one more.
We're gonna do one more. Which one? People who don't get your answer are gonna hate you. I'm kidding. All right, I'm just going around. I saw a Chinese letter guy.
Chinese.
Yeah, but I don't know what that means. It's just a lot of letters put together.
Probably go that one.
This one.
Yeah, so the Chinese character. What's that say?
So guys, if you want to answer, Ryan, to answer your question, just make your name Chinese letters so I can catch my attention. I have no idea. I just, it seems like you put a lot of different letters together then with no meaning. That's what it says. But all right, there's English that he can recognize.
Okay, so you just graduated from a DET program. I'm guessing that's some type of training program.
Yeah.
I'm going to work in a Freightliner dealer shop. What would you recommend for a new guy to focus on the first apprentice? I'd try to take in everything you can. Don't shy away from any job. Do everything. You find the person in there that knows everything, and then try to suck up everything you can from them. And one of the things I learned when I was in the military, in the Navy, was that every opportunity I have for any type of other training or whatever, I take every single opportunity, because you never know when that can come back, when you'll use that, and a lot of times, stuff I thought like, oh, I'm never going to use this or whatever, then they come up when you did. So, I mean, that's what I would recommend, is this, kind of lay low, listen to what everybody's got to say, and and take don't every job, just get in there and whatever you can get your hands on, and suck it all up. So
Yeah. Good luck for the new venture.
yeah, we need. I mean, this is an aging community. I mean, a lot of I was down at the Kenworth dealer on a Saturday a few months ago, and they got a pretty big shop down here at Kenworth of Canton, probably 20-25 bays, maybe more.
Really? That big?
Yeah, on the back.
Kenworth?
The Kenworth of Canton, yeah.
Wow.
So I was in there getting some parts, and on the weekends, at a certain time, you have to actually go back into the shop to get parts on the weekend, so you kind of see what's going on back there. But they had a lot of trucks in there, and like I said, it's a big shop, and there was literally like two guys in there that they had to be 50s, 60s. There was no younger people in there, so I mean, somebody's got to do this work, and I know being in a shop, I never liked working in shops, and people, you can call me a job hop or whatever you want to call me, but my problem, I always thought that it's always I always got to the point, like after 6 months, like I don't like working here. I don't want, and I thought it was maybe the profession of turning wrenches, whatever. But ultimately, my problem was like I didn't want to work in a shop with all the other politics and around all the other personalities, and I have a certain way of doing things, and it's not a process, but like efficiency things, scheduling things and stuff like that. It's like I like things a certain way, and it's kind of maybe a military thing, being in the military for almost 10 years, that I like things a certain efficient, streamlined way, and if it doesn't work that way, then it doesn't work for me. So it's like, and every time I left someplace, they're like, everybody's mad at me, like, why are you leaving? What are we gonna do? And I was like, I don't like it here. But that's it was. I think my thing was like I wanted to do my own thing. So I mean, I like what I do, but I wanted to do it in my way. So it's not like actually the process. Like I don't like the way you're doing this job, like the head job, whatever you're doing. It's not about. I'm not like my way is the only way. I mean, I'm willing to try everything. So it's not really that. It was more of like I don't like the way things are ran, so I want to do it different. So
that's his only way, be his own boss.
So hopefully this works out, because I don't know what I'm going to do if it doesn't. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right, guys. Unfortunately, we're going to have to stop here. And thank you, everybody. Spend the last 30 minutes or so with us. And even though Ryan talked a lot, but I see you guys commenting, asking questions, answer questions. Really, really happy to see this community continue to grow. Now we see 30-some people. So the people here, make sure you subscribe to our channel and spread the word to your friends and family, buddies, and come to our show, and we'll have a great time here, right?
Yeah. So again, guys, I apologize for the last week, or I know 2 weeks we missed, or I missed anyways. But when unfortunately, if we got people in hotels and stuff, I got to kind of work to the needs of our customers. So. But yeah, so we'll try to plan things a little bit better in the future. But like I said, if I got a guy in a hotel and it's Friday, I don't want him sitting all weekend if I can prevent it. So
yeah. All right, thank you guys. Before you leave, like the video again, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.